The tourism industry is set to benefit from an agreement that was inked earlier this month between Carnival Cruise Line and Caribbean Maritime University. In our news segment for this edition of Let'sTravelCaribbean.com, we have a chat with the university's president, Professor Andrew Spencer, to get the details.
So if you think about what we have here, we actually have a partnership that involves Carnival Cruise Lines, but Carnival Cruise Lines is just one brand under Carnival Corporation. The MOU was crafted in such a way that we have access and the ability to negotiate with the other 8 brands within Carnival Corporation. And this is not just for getting our cadets placed.
The MOU has been built on years of an informal working relationship between CMU and Carnival.
We've had some of our graduates who are quality graduates, all of them, they've received employment with Carnival Cruise Lines, and that's really what happened. So it was an attempt to formalize those arrangements over that period, but we would have had a relatively steady flow of individuals who graduated and then received jobs on Carnival. For example, on the hospitality side, we have students working in guest relations. On the deck and engineering side, we have students working in engine rooms and so on. But we have never really formalized that agreement, and so that's why March 7th was such an important date, because we've now inked that deal, a framework that helps us to roll out the partnership in a more seamless way, in a more organized and uniform way, so that we can extract greater value for the CMU and for Jamaica and for the Caribbean. We're very excited about this MOU signing. Carnival has come on board to enable us to do some key things. For our core program, which involves our seafarers, there's a requirement for sea time. There's a requirement for them to have sufficient experience in order to be employable at the end of their degree programs. What Carnival has offered to us are 15 places every year, 5 for engineering and 5 for the marine transportation students. So we are guaranteed those 15 spaces from that program through the Carnival partnership. We've had a challenge securing sea time for our students, and so Carnival is committing to ensuring every year that a minimum of 15 people get sea time on their vessels. Distinct from that is a discussion about scholarships, which is looking outside of just the Marine and Nautical Studies faculty, but at all faculties, because Carnival does have a hospitality component to what they do as well. We have a tourism program. Carnival also has the other side of their business, which is operations, and they believe that our shipping and logistics students have a role to play in that regard. So there are scholarship opportunities. That's a second prong. Another prong is the employment prospects at the end. Carnival now having the confidence in not just our theoretical delivery, but also the fact that they assisted with the practicum side of things by giving sea time and by giving internships, is also committed to providing employment opportunities at the end of that process for our students.
Spencer and his team have a lot to do to get the most out of the MOU. He's very clear on the next steps needed to achieve long-term goals that tie in with the CMU's overall strategy.
So the next immediate steps would be to target the low-hanging fruit, right? So almost immediately what Carnival is going to enable us to do, and I didn't mention before, that in the MOU there's a part of it that deals with familiarization tours. You can imagine a student coming in to do a program and not having the full experience on an actual ship, right? Even before they get to sea time and those things. What Carnival is offering us is an opportunity whenever their ship is in dock in any one of our ports for our students to be able to do familiarization tours on these ships. So that starts as quickly as next week if a ship is in port, right? So that's the first step. The other thing is that we are now working out with Carnival the value of the scholarships to be given and when we can start rolling out the scholarships. So it's more a roadmap in terms of how we operationalize elements of the MOU. We're also moving to have discussions with Carnival and a major supplier of simulators to look at what might be the best way for us to upgrade our bridge simulator at this time to enable us to be able to customize and address more ports. And these are all things that are happening in the next month. We're to have a follow-up meeting with Carnival in the first week of May to work out the actual timelines. Now, as it relates to the placement of the cadets, that also happens immediately. That happens starting September. So as soon as September, we'll start having a determination of which students are selected to go off and get sea time with Carnival. So we're starting to roll out the 15 per year as soon as academic year 23-24. The long-term goal for me is, and I said it at the MOU signing, that really what we want to do is have a partnership so concrete with Carnival that we start exploring the potential of not only scholarships, not only job placements, not only providing business solutions, but having Carnival partner with us to the point where they're helping to develop our physical space. We're looking for naming opportunities for Carnival to help us to build out physically the space, maybe a building named after Carnival. These are things they're open to. The other idea is that we want to have a pipeline from Carnival which allows us, Carnival changes out its vessels over time. We want to be able to say that at the removal of a vessel from rotation, that Carnival considers the CMU first of all for some of those kinds of technologies that would emerge from that. Our training is so application-based that we have the need all the time for new lifeboats, for a lot of safety equipment, for all those kinds of things. We want to have that kind of pipeline arrangement with Carnival so that we are their first point of call. But even better, and more importantly in the long term, we want Carnival to start sending us their employees and and potential employees for training. So we are saying, if you want to learn the Carnival way, you really ought to be at CMU. And so it's marrying those brands in such a way that they will have their own distinctness or their own distinction, but at the same time, one knows that there is something that will be synonymous about CMU and Carnival Cruise Lines. So that's really how we're moving day by day to getting that to be realized over a 5-year period. Ultimately, we would love to have the first Jamaican captain on a Carnival ship, and that's going to take some time, it's going to take some experience. We want to be able to track that. Our target for that is probably 7 or 8 years from now.
You have to go hiking with the Hooligans. It's the latest attraction in the western end of Jamaica, a fun way to do something good for and with the animals. The hike is offered by Montego Bay Animal Haven at its sprawling location dubbed The Farm. We check it out in our place segment.
Jackie Sangster, and you are up here at the Montego Bay Animal Haven in New Mills, just above Hopewell in Hanover. We are up here on our 23-acre property. This is where we have the home for what we affectionately call our hooligans. So we have 170 dogs up here right now, 4 cats and 2 cows, one of them being Ma Cherry. As you can imagine, operations such as this with as many dogs does take a lot of financial support. And so we have, as a nonprofit, need to find ways in order to kind of maintain our operational costs and get that revenue coming in. So we thought opening this up to tourists, to locals as well, to schools and everything, for them to come up and see would be a great opportunity where they could hike, get out into nature, see the dogs, realize dogs need, love unconditionally, are very forgiving, all the different lessons they get to teach us, and we could generate some money through that. And so we're in the process right now of creating the pathway, putting in the necessary railings. As you experienced yourself, we have the ropes leading down to the river, and you thought it was an amazing experience once you got down there. And so we're hoping that when people come, they get to see that and see a different side of Jamaica that they don't maybe get an opportunity to do. People who shouldn't do the hike, we recommend those that may have health issues, underlying health issues, maybe heart conditions, bad knees, bad backs, young children because of the terrain and maybe getting intimidated by the amount of dogs that they have around. But pretty much anybody can do it. I wouldn't advise anybody obviously that's pregnant. Right? But anybody who likes the outdoors, who's up for the challenge of a hike and loves animals, I ask them to come and enjoy. You're asking about how long the hike takes. It varies in time depending on how adventurous our hikers are. You can come with the dogs and go just down to the river and just hang out there for a few minutes, so that could be like about a half an hour to 45-minute hike. Or if you feel like exploring a little bit more and going down to the waterfalls that we have, then it could be up to about anywhere an hour to an hour and a half. but it's well worth it. It's refreshing down there. You get to see the dogs just enjoying the pools and running up and down in all the foliage and then coming back. So if you're doing the longer aspect of the hike, I would say give yourself about 2 hours once you're actually here at the Haven for that activity. Some tips and recommendations if you're coming to visit the Haven for the hike is obviously wear the appropriate clothing, right? I would recommend long pants and shirts that you don't mind getting messed up, because as Charmaine, as you experienced in your team, our dogs are very affectionate and love to come and jump up on you and say hi and welcome to the Haven. It's hooligan behavior. I'd also ask that you wear the appropriate shoes, so like hiking boots or, sneakers that you don't mind getting wet. Perhaps maybe even bring a change of clothes in case you do go down there and happen to get wet. I would bring some bug spray for the mosquitoes and some sunscreen, maybe a sun visor if you're worried about getting burnt, because the sun is out today and it's really nice, and even though we're under the foliage, you still do get a little bit of a sunburn. And obviously we want to stay hydrated, so please bring water with you. One thing about the hike, that's easy. The dogs, the hooligans. That's why we call it the hooligan hikes and hiking with the hooligans. I mean, what else do you need to have fun than to have 20 or so dogs running beside you, leading the way, and just walking through our beautiful countryside. I mean, as they say, Jamaica, sweet, bad,
From Hanover, we journey to Rose Hall in St. James for our taste segment. That's where you'll find Spirits of Montego Bay. The restaurant is just 3 years old, but they're expanding, adding 2 more locations this summer. We have some dishes to recommend. Ready? Here we go. Let's travel.
I'm Jeffrey Smith, the owner, the chef of Spirits of Montego Bay. We are at Rose Hall Boulevard, Lot 11. The history behind Spirit is to create a difference in the food industry. And what I mean by that is the way about entertainment, food. You have to be unique. We have a wide range of food in Jamaica, but we're not lifting the bar. And that is what Spirits is about when you speak about spirits. Been in business now going 3 years, so we did 2 years of the pandemic, and you know what happened through the pandemic. We kept our door open within the guideline of the Prime Minister. And yes, I always enjoy food. Food is one of my major passion. I always use that as my pastime. And I normally just cook for people and give it to them. And they do enjoy it because I like to do different type of food. And that's one of the things that drives me also. And when you go around Jamaica, you see where we're not lifting the bar where food is concerned. It's the same thing everywhere you go. There's nothing to it. There's no pride to it. There's no happiness to it. And I choose now to get into the business and to showcase a difference. The bar is, we have one of the best bar in Montego Bay. We always get that. So it's not me, a lot of people say it because I like when people tells us, and they come in and say, you have one of the best bar in Montego Bay. And the dynamic of spirits that we have here, from tequila, scotch, brandy, whiskey, we even down to wines we have here at Spirits. My mom is a Pentecostal. She always getting in spirits. That's one. And because I enjoy spirits, the different type of alcohol, and I just blend that both and I call it Spirits with a Z. We offer amenities such as we have a beach, we have the pool, and if you want to do party, we have a section for that also. And we also have the view of the ocean. Yes, the pool is open for use now. So once you come and dine, enjoy, you can take your family, because we're big on family at Spirits. Very, very big on it. So, because we realize that you find a lot of parents who out there want to take their children somewhere. You don't have that in Montego Bay. So Spirits give you that access and that experience.